And one of the best players last season, Kato, is the one who ended up taking it all down with Gardevoir, and it's not even slow fast Gardevoir, it's just slow Gardevoir.
Yeah.
Even
There's
slower, it's got Tatsugiri instead of like concealed cards in the Greninja.
no secret box, no rare candies. We're taking it chill. There's 3 darkness energy in here with the 2 monkey dories. Yeah, this is really cool to see from Kaito because Kaito, like you said, super successful season last year. Did not have his invite to Worlds. He played a
which is
lot
crazy.
in our circuit, but did not get his invite through the Japanese circuit. But now, because he got this win at Perth, he will be able to compete at the World Championship. So I'm excited to see what he's got to bring whenever it comes to the biggest stage.
So really cool to see him get the dub. So he'll be at the World Championships this year.
It's like it's interesting with the Japan stuff, right? A little bit more value is placed on the World Championship invite compared to the rest of the world, right? Because it's more difficult, harder to attain. But also at the same time, it's like players like Kaito and Shintaro should be at Worlds, right?
Yeah.
It feels bad that they're not there. Like they're obviously skilled enough, good enough. So it's like I think there could be some happy medium between what the old system was and then what Japan's system has been, right? And maybe that is the system we've got now with the top 125. We'll kind of see how it plays out through the end of the year.
I think, and I think Jake Gearhart has highlighted this on Twitter a little bit, just kind of the differences between how hard it is to get a World's invite in Japan compared to the rest of the world, and that's what it really is like. The big if the World Championships were just 16 players, then only 2 players from Japan go in or something would be like, okay, it's like whatever, right? But when you kind of compare it to what the rest of the world has to do to play at the World Championships compared to what Japan has to do, it does feel like they are slighted in a way. And then I think you can also just like look at their tournament structure and be like, well, this is just so much less conducive, is that the word I want to use here, to the best players actually getting their World's invite, right?
Yeah.
It's like these are some of the best players in the world in Japan. And there's always going to be people who like immediately go to the statements of, well, they could have, why don't they just do better? It's like you can only do that to a point. And the biggest thing is like the comparison between what you have to do in Japan versus what you have to do literally, well, not anywhere else. I guess any of the countries in Asia, to be honest. What they have to do over in Asia to get their World's invite compared to anyone who plays in the TPCI circuit is just like not comparable.
Right.
And all these players who are doing less are getting to Worlds, and they're definitely not as good as some of these players from Japan. So unless like the rest of the worlds, unless the rest of the people who are getting to Worlds through the TPCI system, if it doesn't feel harder for them or as hard, then it does feel kind of bad for Japan. I think it's fair to actually, and it's fair to like look at it that way and be like, it should be just easier for the Japanese players to get to Worlds, or it should be harder for the rest of everyone else to get to Worlds. Because I feel like with how much RNG there is in the Pokemon TCG, like I feel like our system is pretty good for a balance of getting the best players to Worlds, but you know, not leaving it up to just kind of more things out of their reach, like we do kind of see, like with the best of one in these major tournaments in Japan. Because you see Kaito, I don't even know if he has a Champions League top 32, and he probably plays in as many as he possibly can. I don't know where he stands in Champions Leagues, but you see him come to these TPCI events, and he's playing in a best of 3 format, and he's consistently like one of the most successful players one of the most successful players of last season, and already this season, one of the most successful players in the TPCI circuit.
Yeah, this is not like a super long Limitless page, but I mean, it's just the quality. Like, these are the tournaments that he went to last year. He went to 4 tournaments, and he went 7th, 8th, 10th, 3rd.
Yep, that's
$22,000 in earnings from 4 tournaments. That's nuts.
Yeah, and then even this year, he's only been to 2 tournaments, as far as I'm aware. I think there is one in there where he didn't have a great finish.
Which is obviously going to happen. That could have happened last year as well, right?
And then he also, was he one of the players who played over in China recently?
I think so, yeah.
I think he made day 2 there.
Yeah.
And that's like a terrible format in best of 1.